Hello everybody, welcome along. Go Canada, our home for round 9 of RCR. Nestled on the man-made Ile Notre Dame, this 2.171 mile track is one of the most challenging and exciting circuits in the Formula 1 calendar, with its mix of high-speed corners and tight chicanes. And the infamous World Champions, today's race promises to be a true test of skill and precision. The long back straight will see drivers pushing their machines to the limit with hitting speeds of over 200 miles per hour before navigating the tight twists and turns that have claimed many a victory, but also many a championship hope. Just 14 corners around this circuit, 8 to the right, 6 to the left, with DRS 3 zones of those to aid with overtaking. One down the main back straight, the casino straight, which leads into the next one on the start finish. Qualifying is already underway. As we join at the moment, Owen, who puts in a 1:10.808. It's just a short qualifying session at 18 minutes. We are now 14 minutes down on the clock at the moment. We'll go on board with someone who is doing a lap. If you see my name in the session, I do apologise. I didn't put myself down as a spectator, so essentially put me into the race when I shouldn't have been. Okay then, so we're going to go on board with Lex. Lex is back today. I'll take the telemetry off the screen and not do that to him. Lex is back today, was away last week, so dropped 25 points to BXTN, 18 points to Binary, and a further oh sorry, had the music playing as well. Lex goes in with a 1:09.752. Everything's a bit all over the place since I started a bit late. Anyway, Lex dropped 25 points to BXTN, 18 points to Binary, and 15 points to CJ. He's going to be pushing back to try and claim some of those points back today and get a win. Uffendolbach on track at the moment, who sets a 1:09.551, fastest lap of the session so far. And David Kowalski as well, or David Kowalski, sorry. Kowalski. I'll just keep on pronouncing it wrong, I apologise. Either way, he's on a lap at the moment. Kovalaki, I'd say. No. Yeah. Kovalaki, yeah, I guess so. If it's Eastern European anyway. Cycle Ed's also on a lap, but he's invalidated his time. So David Kovalaki at the moment. Across the line, it's a 1:11.950. Nowhere near the times of the front runners. He's going to be disappointed with that performance. Hello, F1 Eddies. Welcome to the session. Appreciate you joining along. Cycle Leads on a lap at the moment. Oh, I've already said that, and he's also invalidated his time. Right, let's go on board with Mr. DJ CJ, who was on an outlap, or is on an outlap. Not close to the start-finish line. We're trying to find someone near the start-finish line. We can then Echo Lads puts in his time. He's invalidated it, so he's going to come back. So yeah, we'll go on board with CJ then as he rounds out the final corner of sector 2 there. Coming up the challenging right left before the brush with the Wall of Champions. So then, DRS, a short zone before turn 1. The drivers will gear down into third, clip the inside curb and move over to the left as much as possible to open up the entry for turn 2. Slightly back off the power a little bit, braking, turning in, and then immediately reapplying the throttle. He's now going through turn 3. This is where Sebastian Vettel come a cropper in 2019 and got that 5-second penalty against Lewis Hamilton. Now then, through turn 5. This section has been flat for a while now. 6, 7, 8, braking at the 100-meter board, and then straight down under the bridge. That's your braking point. The moment that the bridge starts down into 5th gear, letting the car roll through, and then the only DRS detection zone just before turn 9 and 10. And he's gone fastest in the second sector. And now the long back casino straight heading towards turns 13 and 14. Turns 11 and 12 essentially non-existent. Flat out all the way down now. And then at the 100-meter board, breaking down to fourth, letting the car roll through 180 miles per hour. 130 miles per hour, sorry, down to the start-finish straight. CJ across the line. It's a 109.885, 3/10 off. Provisional pole, which currently belongs to Huffendolbach. FR Element across the line. It's a 1:13.1 for him. FaZe Walker currently on an outlap by the looks of it. I think he's backed off of his push lap. You see there, Lex moving left to right, heating the tyres, generating as much heat as possible, getting them in the operating temperature. He wants to warm them up a little bit, but not too much. If he overheats them, they won't work properly. They won't stick to the track in the way that they should. However, one short lap of Canada, he really needs to work them tyres to get them in the absolute operating temperature. And he's about to cross the line to begin his qualifying lap now. Through turn 1 he goes again. And as I said, turn 2 you're going to get on the power as early as possible there at the apex. Run down to turn 3 and 4. 4 is flat, has been for a while as I said. And 5. Before getting to the 100-meter board, breaking down. It's very easy to oversteer the car here. Lex does very well not to do that. He's gone fastest in the first sector as well. Now he's coming up to the short DRS straight in sector 2. Very easy to invalidate a time. Through turns 7, 8, 9. And he's fastest in the second sector as well. Is Lex going to get another pole position this season? Only has 1 pole so far, believe it or not. 3 wins though to his name. And currently 3rd in the driver's standings still after missing 1 full race. So had a healthy lead before he went away. He's going to come back. He's going to cross the line. Is he going to get some redemption? Yes, he is. It's a 9.475 and puts himself a 10th ahead of Huffendolbach, who is doing very well at the moment. Currently 2nd on the grid, and it's now first provisional pole for Huffendolbach as he crosses the line and does one better, a 10th faster than Lex. Some incredible stuff here. Huffendolbach showing some incredible improvement from the start of the season. If this continues the way it is, I'm going to be very happy with a pole position. See though, drivers getting faster and faster and faster. That's because as they lay rubber down, as the track heats up, as the track wears in, the rubber sticks to the tarmac and essentially makes the track even grippier, and the times will get faster and faster throughout this qualifying session towards the very end. So the active JMC coming into the pits. Behind him, missed that, sorry, who's going across the line? I think it's FaZe Walker. FaZe Walker does cross the line, but he's had another invalidated lap time. So he's going for it again. I think he's done 3 laps on this tyre so far. Looking for someone who we've not been on board with yet. We'll go on board with Websy. Websy last week came 3rd. 15 points. I think I said CJ. CJ came 4th last week. Websy was the last podium finisher. It was a very close battle between him and CJ though. All the way to the line almost, although CJ did pick up 6 seconds of time penalties that race in Monaco. Here we go then. Websy coming up to the start-finish line. What has he got in the tank? It's a 109. It's a 109.7. Puts him just 6th place I feel like with Webbsy's pace, he'll be disappointed with that. CJ's invalidated his lap time. FaZe Walker on another lap, but he's invalidated again, and he's coming into the pits. He's decided to get a fresh set of rubber, as we've only got 5 minutes and 46 seconds left in this session. Who's out on laps at the moment then? Webbsy's coming in. The XTN has put himself on the second row. .9 seconds off the pace in the second sector. So he's on an in lap as well. Psycho Les down in 11th. He's coming into pit for fresh rubber. There's only one qualifying session. I have to remind you, only one qualifying session today. So it's just the short qualifying and that's it. We get straight into the race after that. Slazenger, our double world champion, the only double world champion that RCR has. We are on our 5th season. Slaz won the 3rd and the 4th. But at the moment, struggling in this championship. He's down in 7th in the championship at the moment. Not liking this change to the game's mechanics. CJ then. Coming up to the line, Cottony Goblin rejoins the session. I didn't realise he'd gone out. It's a 109.593, which puts him up into 6th, pushes Webbsy down slightly to 7th. I think they've just essentially swapped places there, to be honest. Thank you very much for everyone joining the stream. Thank you very much for all the likes. I appreciate it a lot. It really helps. We'll go on board with FR Element, who is the only driver on track at the moment, and he is going faster, 0.3 faster. That would currently put him, though, still 12th, so he'll have to pull out a incredible lap, or a incredible 3rd sector to make this better. I've actually just realised down in the bottom right of your screen, if that track is red, it means that they've invalidated their lap, so you can see the track map in the bottom right. Essentially, that just means that FR Element has invalidated his lap, which is why he's coming into the pits and almost made contact with the inside barrier there. Owen on a lap at the moment, 0.2 faster than his current time, which is putting Webbsy and CJ essentially under threat. You see the back end there skidding across the tarmac. He's lost 0.2. That's because he wasn't even first through the 3rd sector yet. You'll have to forgive me for that one. Yeah. We'll stick on board with Owen. Looks like he's moving left to right though, so I think he's preparing for another lap rather than going for this one. Yeah, he is. He's moving left to right and is on another outlap essentially. Speaking of outlaps, Active JMC currently sat down in 9th place. Let's see what he can do. On a 10.5, he did set that time earlier on in the session, so can move up, especially past Owen, who's struggling at the moment. Again, he's on his 2nd attempt at a lap right now, and it's easy to invalidate here. The barriers may be close, but the fact that you have to cut the curbs, as Active JMC is doing here, the fact that you have to do that really lures you towards invalidating your time. Looks like he got that done very well. It's looking fast for Active JMC, but it's not. It's 1.2 seconds off his time. What is going on with Active JMC? 1.2 seconds off. I doubt that's accurate, to be honest. Didn't look. Oh, he has slowed down. He's realised that he's messed up, and he has slowed down. Owen has been allowed past. I wonder if, even though JMC did get off the line slightly, I wonder if he has impeded Owen a little bit there. 1 minute 40 seconds left in the session. Huff and Dolbach on an outlap. Binary on an outlap. All the drivers now starting their final runs. It'll be cramped towards the top. We'll stick on board with whoever's closest out of the top 5. DJ's down in the 2nd sector. You can see Webbsy in the 1st. Santry's pretty close. Looks like first of everyone is going to be Lex. So we will stick on board with the returning driver who's looking to get his first championship in RCR. So then, Lex starts his lap. He's getting up to 210 miles per hour on the back straight. Shorter DRS straight on the start finish though, about 190. He almost loses the back end though, out of turn 2. Again, it's very easy to oversteer here in Canada, in Gilles Villeneuve. Very close to the barriers, very hair-raising stuff there. I did post a short clip on TikTok of a qualifying lap around Monaco, which got taken down because TikTok believed it was actually like the real F1. I mean, the graphics are good, but they're not that good. the video got taken down. Anyway, we'll stick on board with Lex, who's coming up to the hairpin. Critical to get this exit right here, because it will haunt you if you do not. You go all the way down now to turns 13 and 14, and you're carrying that exit with you all the way. So you've got to get on the power early on. Lex is going to cross the line soon. He's just got to get the last 2 corners right. It looks like he's absolutely nailed them. Close to the wall of champions. Crosses the line. It is a 109.3. Puts him on provisional pole. Huffendorback is coming up next. Santry does not improve on his time. He's still 5th place. Huffendorback across the line. It's a 109.6. Binary coming through the final sector. BXTN goes on pole. It's provisional pole at the moment. Binary, the only one that can usurp him at the moment. He crossed the line. He goes on provisional pole. And I, Mr. DJ CJ, doesn't improve on his time. Websy, what can he do? He's 3/10 up. Is he going to pip CJ? Is he going to pip Santry? He can also maybe even get past Huffendorback and Lex as well. Websy crossed the line. It's a 109.195. Websy takes provisional pole at the moment. I don't believe there's anybody on the track that can possibly stop him. Slazenger of Volvo has retired from the session. I believe that is in the pit lane though. Upset for him. He's still down in 9th and still struggling this season to get to grips with the cars. But it's an incredible pole from Websy, who was quite the dark horse in this session. You could see him down in 6th place, 7th place before crossing the line there. And he's just jumped up onto provisional pole, well, which is essentially pole now, as everyone has set their times apart from Cottony Goblin and myself, because I accidentally got into the session instead of being a spectator. Yeah, anyway, moving on. So there's your pole sitter coming down the casino straight and into the pits. He'll take his car. Or not. Let's do one more flying run as we end this session. Websy on pole for the race, which is going to be terrific for his championship. At the moment, it's at 41 points behind Binary. No wins to his name as of yet. 4 podiums. But can he convert this pole position into a win and get himself into this championship fight, which is heating up? We are only on round 9 of 24. There's still a long time to go, and Websy can pull himself back into this fight. So then we'll go through our qualifying order and our starting grid. Websy lines up on pole with Binary behind him. BXTN and Lex share the second row of the grid. Huffendorback and Santry on the third. Fourth row, I'm DJ CJ and Owen. Slazenger and David Kovalaki on the fifth. Active GMC, Cycle Leds, Phase Walker, FR Element, and Cottony Goblin, not myself, round out your final 15. Hopefully I don't start on the grid, but I feel like this may not be helped and it'll be highly unprofessional, sadly, but I think they'd rather get the race underway than start. It looks like I've gotten away with it, as I've put myself in spectate mode when I rejoined the session. So it does look like we'll get, you know, a normal race start from a normal camera angle. Thankfully for that. You can go over the tyres that everyone is on at the moment. This may change though when we get to the starting grid. As you can see, Cottony Goblin slightly put out of place by myself being in 15th. However, I don't think it will affect him too much. I should have essentially just disqualified myself from the session, but oh well. we move on. So, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, its namesake, won the Grand Prix, won his first Grand Prix in 1978. Held off many challengers, was great throughout the race. However, a charging Jean-Pierre Jarier in the black and gold Lotus was leading by 30 seconds before he suffered a terminal brake system failure and had to come into the pits. Gilles Villeneuve then went on to win that race. Since then has become somewhat of a local legend and hero. As I mentioned before, the Wall of Champions on the inside wall of the track on the exit of turn 14 got its name from the famous 1999 Grand Prix. Well back then, 3 former world champions crashed into the wall, and the legend was born. The 1996 champion Damon Hill crashed in on lap 14 of the race. Then Michael Schumacher, his former rival, had the same crash on lap 29, and just 5 laps later, the 97 champion and home favourite Gilles Villeneuve's son Jacques Villeneuve became the 3rd world champion to finish the race in the infamous wall. The only other champion on the grid was Mika Hakkinen, who went on to win the race that day. Hopefully, with it being dry weather, it won't be as chaotic as the 2011 race. If we're wondering why we sat on the grid, actually, I forgot to say, sorry. At the moment, the drivers have a 5-minute break. It will be a lot less than 5 minutes right now. You get to select the strategy, go for a break, go for a drink, whatever, before the race begins. It is essentially an hour-long race, so better to prepare beforehand. Obviously not the real thing where they have to endure the heat and conditions of real Formula 1 and real motor racing, but still, we like everyone to stay hydrated and have the race strategies situated, which is why they get the 5-minute break. As I was saying, though, 2011, Jenson Button won a record-breaking race. It was one of the longest race in modern Formula 1, 4 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds. That was due to long delays, heavy rain. It was in a race which saw a record 6 safety cars. Button was running dead last on lap 39 after a collision with Fernando Alonso, which left him with a puncture. Making a record-breaking 6 pit stops during the race, though, he somehow found himself in contention for the win in the final laps when Sebastian Vettel in the Red Bull at that time made a mistake on a wet, drying track. Button took the lead of the race on the very last lap to win one of the most incredible races in Formula 1 history. Seriously, if you've never seen it before, I do implore you to go watch it. It's on the F1 website. If you've got a F1 subscription, F1 TV subscription, you can rewatch any of the archive races. That's not an advert, by the way. It's just the only one of the few legal places you can watch it. Let's just say that. There are other ways you can watch the race. I think even it may be uploaded to YouTube now, actually, by F1 themselves. So hopefully everyone gets to watch it. It's an incredible race and shows the difference as well between these cars and the and the cars from back then. The size difference is absolutely insane. They were even smaller actually a couple of years before that. But F1 cars have just been getting bigger and bigger as safety improves and teams seek more downforce. Obviously, the larger area the car covers, the more downforce it can generate. Which is why we had this regulation change, really. This regulation change where it's called the ground effect era. Basically, all the aerodynamics that control the grip of the car, or most of them, are underneath. Whereas back in 2011 and as early as 2021, most of the bits were on top. But yeah, why we had the regulation change, because the non-ground effect cars were having such big improvements in pace, they were actually getting too much for the tires, and it was getting ridiculous where the tires weren't able to, or the tire development wasn't able to keep up with the car development. The loads that the cars were able to put through the tires was absolutely insane. So we're not long from starting the race. I am going to attempt to show you the standings, but I feel like I may be a bit too late for that. But here we go. So Binary leading the championship at the moment by just 2 points. Lex in third by 21 points. Obviously, CJ in second. BXTN, as I mentioned before, won the Monaco Grand Prix. He's also a driver's champion for RCR with 3 constructors champions with Websy. 3 constructors championships with Websy. And just 24 points behind. As I said, it's a 24 race season. So anything can still happen. And there's just 2 points between the top 2. And, well, Lex has been showing incredible pace lately. And Websy coming into the fight now as well, taking pole position. Just looking to see, we've had... Oh, no, we've not got a track of the pole sitters. Apologies. I think he's... Yeah, so we only started tracking the pole sitters 2 races ago, so I do apologise. We've got the 2 poles, Lex and BX10. Okay, then. So here we go. This isn't the start of the race. This is the formation lap, so drivers will go around, heat their tyres before the start of the race. They've been sat on the grid for a while. I know this is just a game, but the simulation aspect of it does mean that as I'm on board with myself doing an AI lap, that's interesting. Anyway, hopefully I don't make too much of an impact on the race. Websy leading them round on the formation lap, opting for the medium tyre. Actually, we'll go through who's picked what tyre. Be very interesting. So Websy and Binary both on the medium. BXTN next on the hard tyre, the harder compound. For those that don't know, that are just watching and has never seen F1 before, hard just basically means a harder compound tyre. It's more durable, essentially. It's a slower tyre, so the cars go slower on it. But it's more durable, so lasts longer. So drivers have it's a bit of strategy play. Do I want to go longer on this harder, slower tyre and then pit later? So come into the pits and change my tyres later. Or do I want to be on the faster tyre early on, maybe make up some places? So you can see there, Slazenger of Volvo has opted for the soft tyre. So he'll be quite quick off the line, but his tyres won't last as long and he'll have to come in for an earlier stop, probably changing to the hard tyre to the end. The drivers, as long as it's not raining, are required to do 1 pit stop and switch tyre compounds. So they can't do, so if you start on a medium, you can't do 1 pit stop to make your mandatory requirement and then switch to the medium. You have to pit, switch tyres entirely, and that's your mandatory pit stop complete. So you can see all the drivers situating themselves in their grid boxes, as I believe BXTN yet struggled to get his car lined up. He's not disqualified from the session as it says he is. He's disqualified from the startup procedure, so essentially his car will reset into a bit further back position. He won't have the advantage. Okay then, the Canadian Grand Prix is about to begin at RCR. You can see the lights just in the background there, and it's lights out. Away we go. Websy does get off the line well, as Binary losing ground, but incredibly Lex already moving up on the outside of BXTN there. You can see Lex then gets the inside of turn 2, which is going to allow him to pull away from BXTN, who is on the harder tyre, and it's at an incredible disadvantage, and Lex does get the move done. Mr. DJ CJ battling it out with Santry. He's moved down to 7th place. Santry then has lost time to Huff and Dobak in 5th place. He's almost a second out now. In dry conditions, drivers get DRS, which essentially is a drag reduction system. After 1 lap, the rear wing will open up on certain parts of the track and allow drivers easier overtaking opportunities, so long as they're within 1 second. Somebody has retired from the session though. It's Active JMC. I can't see him in the background there. Active JMC out of this race, and it's already a safety car here in Canada. Remember before I mentioned the 2011 Grand Prix with a record 6 safety cars. Hopefully with half the distance we won't have that here today, but already a safety car playing into strategy. However, it's too early on in the race, I'd say, for anybody to pit off their tyres. Slazenger may be wanting to change strategies. He started in 9th. He didn't make up any places. And as I say that, he has come into the pits for his pit stop. So he's going to get rid of that rubber. It's not worked out for him early on. And he's going to switch on to what looks to be the medium tyre. So then, Websy still leads this race. Lex has moved up past BXTN, who started on that hard tyre. Incredibly challenging track. Canada, I do not, Active GMC, obviously we didn't see the incident, or I wasn't looking at the incident. If it was on the screen, I do apologise. But you can't blame drivers for crashing out of this race. Look how close the barriers are. We don't allow any assists as well that drive the car for you. So we do allow ABS and we do allow traction control and racing line as well. But any assists where it's like steering assists, braking assists, we don't allow those. So there's almost no crutches for drivers to fall back on. So the safety car will remain out for a couple of laps while the debris from the circuit is cleared. At the moment, Websy's doing very well for his championship. He's putting points over BXTN, Lex as well, who were the two closest to him ahead in third and fourth. Websy never won a RCR Drivers' Championship. He's won 3 Constructors' Championships with BXTN. And Mr. DJ CJ has rejoined the session, which could essentially be why he lost ground early on. I think he was in control of the car though at that time. Thank you everyone who's watching at the moment. Don't forget, if you do like the stream, just give it an actual like on TikTok. Really appreciate it. It pushes the stream to more viewers and does me a massive favour. Cars going around at the moment at a slower speed, so this will save their tyres as well. So this will play into the hands of everybody at the moment, especially those on the medium, because those on the medium may be able to pick different strategies now. They were kind of pigeonholed into going onto a harder compound on the hard tyre, or even doing a 2-stop. The race may still be a 2-stop, but at the moment, safety cars coming back in. See the drivers weaving left to right. That's Websy reheating his tyres because they've been going around so slowly. Essentially, it means that the tyres now need heat generating into them. As I've said many times on streams, safety car at the moment actually is coming, and Websy has already gone. So Websy gets to control the pace of the race and decide when it goes. He's already done that, and the racing is back underway. No overtaking though until they cross the start-finish line for anyone. So Websy goes across the start-finish line, and the race is back on. Ignore the fact that it says the safety car is still out. Unfortunately, it's just a glitch with the game at the moment where sometimes it still says that. We're going to look now for close track battles. David Kovalaki has made his way past FaZe Walker, who's on the inside of turn 4 and 5 and gets the move done. Very good job from him as he goes up into 11th place, just 1 place away from a points paying position. Huffendolbach closing in on BXTN, who seems to be struggling. He was up in 3rd where he started. He's down to 4th, and now he's under pressure from the guy behind him in 5th. Huffendolbach putting the pressure on. He looks very fast in qualifying. I just don't think he timed his final qualifying run right, and unfortunately he's just hit the back of BXTN, and he may have just picked up some wing damage. We did see something fly off. It could have been a bit of dirt, but I think he's picked up wing damage on the right hand side, missing an end plate there, I think. Fortunately, no, he's not. So had a little bit of wing fall off, but nothing too serious for Huffendolbach. FR Element gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. The only driver at the moment with a time penalty though. Bantry rounding out. Turn 2 into 3-4. It's incredibly close racing at the moment. Will gaps open up? Canada has 3 DRS zones, so quite hard to break the toe here. Quite hard to break out of that 1 second, which this allows drivers from getting the DRS on you. You can see Cycle Led's 2.6 seconds off Owen in front of him. That means he's fallen out of the DRS zone at 1 second. And essentially what happens is FR Element and David Kowalaki battle it out, and David has made his way up into 10th place. Surprisingly, I am in this race and I'm doing incredibly well, but will just disqualify me from the session. We'll continue on. Websy, just 6/10 from Binary in 2nd place. Lex pushing on, trying to minimize the damage that has been caused by him being absent at Monaco. Lex has just set the fastest lap of the race. He's trying for an inside move. They've made contact into turn 1, but Binary holds his ground, holds off the charging Lex, and Lex has to wait probably another lap before making that attempt at an overtake again. The tussle between the two of them, though, has made it so Websy has pulled away by 1 second from Binary. However, Binary's just closed up that gap as I say that and has moved back into DRS, which has then been lost again. Huff and Dolbach still all over the back of BXTN. The two of them at the front got very close indeed, didn't they? That was a bit touch and go. I'm glad they came out virtually unscathed. Huff and Dolbach coming up to turn 10, quite late on the brakes like last time. This time though, avoids contact with BXTN's rear wing. And now down the Casino straight, one of the longest straights on the Formula 1 calendar. Is he going to be able to make a move up the inside? It doesn't look like it, does it? No. It's all about good exits here. It's all about good exits at every track, but here it's incredibly crucial. Not many slow speed corners. All of them almost requiring you to get the car slowed down, but get back on the power as soon as possible and have the car with very minimal. As we've got another safety car. Who was that for? FaZe Walker has lost the front wing and is down in 15th place. So we'll have to get that changed. I'm not sure what happened there. Apologies. It's unfortunate for FaZe Walker, who was already struggling outside the points. New driver to RCR. He's coming into the pit lane for what will be a wing change while the rest of the drivers continue around the lap at minimal pace. So this is our second safety car already. We are only on lap 6. Honestly, we didn't have as many safety cars. I don't think we had any safety cars in Monaco. We had a couple of virtual safety cars, but no full course safety cars. So we're already doing better than Monaco here. So it just proves how treacherous Canada can be. It's very deceptive. It looks like any normal or classic racing circuit. FaZe Walker almost loses the back end coming out of the final of the second turn there out of the pits. Binary coming into the pits from second place. Off the medium tyre he goes, onto the hard. Is Binary planning to take this tyre to the end? Again, we're running slowly at the moment through the safety car period, which means this will put some extra laps in this tyre. It'll say that we've done 9 laps, it'll say that we've done 10 laps, but by the time the safety car comes in, this tyre will virtually have done, you know, it will say it's done 2 laps, but it would have done barely any racing laps, hardly anywhere goes onto the tyre while they're moving this slowly. The Binary slots into 8th from 2nd. That promotes Lex right behind a charging Websy though. Yeah, the leading Websy. And as I should have said, the charging Lex is behind Websy as he's got the fastest lap of the race at the moment. We've got a few penalties as well. So 6 seconds to FR Element. David Kowalaki has 3. FaZe Walker has 3. And he's also just picked up another one. But on top of that, lost the front wing and is running at the very back. However, with the safety car period, you can see him on the track there. The pink dot in the bottom right in sector 1. He'll come up to the back of the pack before the safety car is over, hopefully. Permitting no mistakes from him on the safety car conditions. And we'll get racing again. He'll have another opportunity at it. Really appreciate everyone who's here at the moment in the stream. Thank you very much. at the moment. Get rid of that. At the moment, Websy is leading this race. However, the fastest car on track at the moment is the driver behind him, Lex, who has a prime opportunity now to make an overtaking move. After this safety car is done with, Websy will have to have his wits about him to essentially fend off the fastest driver on track at the moment. FaZe Walker retires from the session. He's coming to the pit lane. He feels like he can do no further. Have no further impact on this race. He's currently sat down. He was sat down in 15th place before coming into the pit lane and retiring. Lost his front wing. He had to come in, get it changed, and well, has decided that it's probably best off that he just does not continue. He already had 6 seconds of penalties as well. I completely understand. Sometimes it's just not your day. Safety car will be in this lap. And Websy again. Last time he went quite early, I'd say. But you can see there the safety car now pulling away from the drivers. Pulling away from the drivers. And now it's Websy's responsibility to lead the pack back into the race, cross the start-finish line. His job to restart this race whenever he sees fit. There's no overtaking for the start-finish line. It looks like he may have gone. No, he's not. It's just a very good camera angle that made him look like he's going faster. Yes, he's gone now. Yeah, he has gone now. He's got an absolutely incredible jump on Lex, who is now 9/10 off Websy. Websy is going to absolutely bomb it through his turn 1, 2. He's only going to get down to 130 miles per hour just through that second corner there. It's absolutely unbelievable the speeds these cars go through such tight, narrow sections of track. Websy absolutely getting that right, clipping the inside curb of turn 3, coming up to turn 6 now. Again, very easy to oversteer throughout that corner. We're going to go on board with BXTN, who's pushing up. It's a virtual safety car. Something else has happened. But at the moment, the drivers can't get going. They want to get going, and then something happens. I can't see what has happened. As I just got a 10-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag. Brutal. I really wish I didn't put my car in this race. I do apologise for the fact that it's even in there. I wish that we could have restarted, but we were already so far behind our start time that it was one thing after another, I guess. And well, there you have it. I'm now there, taking 9th place away from somebody that should have it. However, after the session is over, we will of course disqualify myself. Cottony Goblin has left the session, as Owen gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the VSC because we are green again. The XTN under pressure as Lex is 2 seconds away from Websy. Websy is absolutely storming away from this race at the moment. He's got clean air ahead of him, and he's able to pull out a gap as Lex is under pressure from BXTN. The gaps are incredibly close between them. Binary is closing on Slazenger and Volvo. Just 3/10 as they're coming up now to turn 10. The DRS detection zone is just before turn 10 and is for both the start finish straight and the casino straight, which we are on now. The drivers get 2 helpings of DRS from turn 10 onwards, and Binary not able to move up past Slazenger and Volvo because Slazenger has made his way past Psycho Leds. Binary all over the back of Psycho, who's got in his way essentially. And into turn 1 he goes, and he's made that move on Psycho and then back right up behind Slaz again. I miss DJ CJ coming back. He was 7th at the start of this race after a poor start. Now in 5th place on hunting down Santry at the moment. Incredible stuff. from all of them. They're so close together. Lex, surprisingly, unable to make any impression on Websy at the moment. That gap is still sat at 2 seconds throughout the entire safety car period. I was talking about how Lex was the fastest driver on track. There's no way that Websy will be able to hold him off. Websy has absolutely played a blinder on the start, pulled 9/10 on him, and then in even further 2 seconds by the virtual safety car started. By the time this virtual safety car started. Overtakes are coming. David Kovalaki moves up past BXTN, has moved up past Lex, who's struggling, but it seems that Lex is really struggling at the moment. Is that wing damage then for Lex, or is he just really struggling on this tyre, or have they gone off? We are 12 laps into the race. BXTN is charging. He's 1.7 seconds off Websy, 1.5 seconds almost off Websy now. You can see there BXTN in the background from this great camera angle that we got. Lex is under some serious pressure at the moment, moving back after getting up to second. Incredible stuff. Websy, BXTN, both teammates for AlphaTauri. I know at the moment that we can see that we've got the F1 World Cars, but unfortunately that's just because the game is kind of screwed up at the moment, where when you try to put equal cars on the team liveried cars, they don't actually be equal. So we have to run the F1 World Car. So then we know for a fact that everyone's getting equal performance out of their cars, and it is all down to driver skills. Santry closing in on Lex. Lex hasn't lost BXTN. That DRS extremely powerful here. Cottony Goblin gaining on... Oh, that's me. Not going to pay attention to the AI battle. The Lex still close to BXTN. BXTN makes a slight mistake out of turn 2. That's going to put him under pressure, but he's going to have the benefit that there's really no overtaking opportunity through turns 3 and 4. 5 as well. Lex is going to have to get a great exit out of 6 and 7 to even put a challenge on BXTN through this very short DRS straight. But BXTN is reeling in Websy and pulling Lex along with the DRS. Lex couldn't make an impression when he was just 2 seconds behind and in second. But as BXTN closes in on Websy, the fact that Lex has that DRS available to him, as Mr. DJ CJ has joined this fight now and is all over the back of Santry. As Lex now has that DRS available to him, it's dragging him along, pulling him towards the battle, as a great move is pulled off by Lex on the start-finish straight. Mr. DJ CJ makes nothing of that, but BXTN and Santry both pick up penalties at the same time, both of them with 3 seconds. So essentially, they are now net behind Mr. DJ CJ, even though CJ is 5th on track. Looking good for the time being. Making sure that the stream was still on. It'd be absolutely horrible and gutting if it wasn't. Lex has made his way back past BXTN. We saw that on the lap before, and now he has closed into Websy. BXTN has brought the danger to his teammate. Gave Lex the DRS. Lex then utilized it to move past BXTN and closing in on the medium tyre. As FR Element picks up yet another time penalty. Cotton Goblin has made a mistake coming out of turn 10, or has been crashed into. It's a very unusual place to lose the car. That may have been contact. Websy doing well though to manage this race. It really is. Many drivers have just a few tenths between them. And since Lex got back past BXTN, still not made an impression on Websy. We are coming up to the time where drivers need to be thinking about changing tyres now though. We are coming up to that window. There are just 20 laps left in this session, which would be a great time for those on the softer compound tyre, the medium, to maybe come onto the hards. These two battling it out. Lex and BXTN. They collide. They collide, and BXTN has lost a piece of front wing on the straight. I don't think Lex expected that. He was also going to make a move on Websy. And BXTN now losing an end plate. And that has put CJ all over the back of Lex. Lex did not expect BXTN to be making that move on Websy. I think that's what happened. But they got side by side and then right into each other. And it's now Lex under pressure. Lex losing control a little bit. No, that was CJ, sorry. CJ on the inside just lost control as Lex collided with the right tyre of CJ. What has happened here? Santry moving down the order. Lex back up into third. I miss TJ. CJ, I think he's got a puncture, has he? He has got a puncture. I thought I saw a puncture. That's what I picked up on. I just couldn't work out which driver it were. CJ picked up a puncture from that collision. He'll be absolutely livid with that. Moving down the order. He needs to box. Or he doesn't. Okay. Is it Lex with the puncture? Who's... Maybe I'm seeing things. I just don't understand why CJ was moving down the field so much. Obviously he did have that contact which may have caused either some damage or some loss in performance. But Lex boxes. Switch of tyres onto the hards. He's going to go to the end. Very interesting to see. So Lex trying the undercut then. I think I will say, just in case, as CJ does make his way back up past Santry, I'll say just in case, if I've been absolutely blind there and missed whatever happened, I do apologise. All I could see is that CJ was moving down the order. It doesn't look like he's got a puncture because this car's fine and performing well. He's just made his way back up past Santry, but it was just weird that he was falling down so much as BXTN takes the lead of the race, and we unfortunately... Oh, it's only a DRS overtake. It wasn't into turn 13 like I thought it would be. But BXTN is your new race leader. The hards coming into play. If I was on the medium tyre at the moment, personally, I would be thinking about boxing now. I would be seriously considering coming into the pits and switching tyres, because we are now further into the race. We are over 50% into the race now. Cottony Goblin pits. Gonna be a switch of tyres. Don't think Cottony Goblin is in the session though. Websy and BXTN and Binary, sorry. Passing that up. Websy's lost yet another place. Feel like Websy should have come in a couple of laps ago. Never mind. Coming in now. Locks up on the inside. You can tell he's really struggling on these tyres at the moment. It's allowing CJ also to catch up. There's a caution yellow, sector 2. Who is that? Out of turn 8. As Santry moves up past Mr. DJ CJ. These two back and forth constantly. But Santry almost loses the back end. And that's going to put him under pressure into turn 1. CJ has a chance here. DRS for the Red Bull driver. Santry is struggling incredibly. You can see the car just complaining under traction. And Websy closing back up to Binary. It's looking very close. Slazenger Volvo has pitted again. He started on the soft tyre, so he's pitted onto the medium again. He got to use 2 sets after the early safety car. Websy on the back of Binary. Botany Goblin moving up past FR Element. But this is where the points are scored in the top 10. The most currently being scored by BXTN, who leads this race by just 0.2 of a second as Binary is closing in. He's on the inside of turn 13. He goes through. He takes the lead of the race. BXTN, though, much better exit. It looks like BXTN will get the place back. No, he doesn't, because he's been put out of position, and that's allowed Websy through, who's now just a 10th behind. Binary, who he tries to get the move done, locks a brake. And that was very close to being absolute disaster. It's incredible that all three drivers got through that. At the moment, Websy, he led this race from the start. He's now closing back in. He's up 20 laps on these medium tyres. He's gone the longest of everybody on the medium. But he is still in this race. Will he try an undercut maybe? Exactly like Lex has done. Lex is just... Look at the difference between this. Lex is now just 12 seconds off the lead. He'll be 8 seconds up the road after these 5 do their pit stops. Lex making that decision. I feel like we'll get some pit stops soon, surely. Continuing on. Incredible stuff. Maybe I'm missing something. Hang on a minute. We got pit stops. Needs to find out how many times drivers have stopped. There's just Binary that stopped the one time. And Huffendolbach. So they've made their pit stops. They do not need to come in again. And they're going to try and take these hard tyres to the end. They have only done 14 laps. Binary is really struggling, isn't he? If Websy is on 21 lap old medium tyres and Binary is on 14 lap old hard tyres, you'd expect a significant pace difference. As BXTN, speaking of which, has a look up the inside, but thinks better off to take the position on the straight. But he's now under pressure from Mr. DJ CJ, who's just a 10th behind. Closing in on the podium position. CJ moves to the right hand side, has a little look, but does not make the overtake. They are essentially in a DRS train at the moment. So the DRS you see when the rear wing opens up and allows for drivers to overtake. Reduces the drag on the car, which makes it essentially go faster in a straight line, and only in a straight line on certain parts of the track. But they're in a DRS train at the moment, meaning that because BXTN also has DRS because Websy is in front of him, it means that it's making it hard for the likes of CJ, for the likes of Huffendolbach to make overtakes. As Binary moves outside a second of Websy, so Websy no longer has the DRS on Binary and will be a sitting duck this lap. Unless he's just managed to get it, just so it fall under a second. I don't think he was at the detection point though. See, so no DRS for Websy. You'll see BXTN start to close up a little bit. It's 6 tenths behind, so I doubt that he'll get close enough to make the overtake. But he's now just 2 tenths. So somebody has come into the pit. Somebody's pulled the trigger. Huffendolbach has decided that it's time to pit. So he's decided that he can't go to the end on these hard tyres. He's opted to go for the medium. Fastest lap, Lex at the moment, 11.684. On the hard tyre, 6 laps on it. He's only just done the fastest lap. Which doesn't say that Lex is slow, but it does say that these cars are maintaining a reasonable pace throughout this race, no matter what wear they have on the tyres. It's looking like a great move from Mr. DJ CJ, who thinks better of it though. There's not really space to go through turn 7 like that. getting the car slowed down for the hairpin. Again, as I said before, the exit so critical as BX10 almost loses the back end of the car, almost collides with the wall, and now CJ is all over the back of him. He's got just a 10th between him. He's got DRS as well. He's going to be absolutely to the limit here. BX10 seems to have more straight line speed, though, than I missed CJ. And even with that mistake, does not get overtaken by CJ. However, CJ has come into the pits. He's pulling the trigger and going on to maybe the soft tyre at the end of the race. No, the medium. 10 laps on the medium tyre then. Not sure if the soft would last that long. Could potentially, considering how long the medium and the hard have lasted. And Mr. CJ rejoins the race behind Santry, behind Lex. So you can see how powerful the undercut is here. Offendoback past CJ. And BX10 on the back of Websy. Very interesting to see that these drivers don't have the information. I believe they only see the top four. They see themselves and who's behind, and a couple who are ahead. Who are ahead. As both BX10 and Websy come into the pits. So then, it's softs for BX10, it's softs for Websy. And away he goes. Comes out behind CJ, both of them do. CJ has pulled off the undercut on both of them. And is now up into 5th place in the closing stages of this race. We are 10 laps to the finish. Binary leads over Lex, who is 9.4 seconds behind, but Binary has already completed a pit stop. Can he go a further 10 laps on this tyre? I feel like he'll certainly try, due to the fact that if he doesn't, he will probably finish below 6th place from the lead. So Binary will probably stay out till the end, or try to, which he is risking a significant puncture if he does this. Ball in Binary's court though, and Lex just has to pump in the laps and try and close that gap. It's 9.2 seconds at the moment. Welcome to the stream, Jaden. Appreciate you joining. Offendoback pulled off the undercut on CJ. However, CJ flying at the moment. A 1:11.666, the fastest lap of the race so far. BXTN and Websy have completed the first lap on their tyre. And this will be the first full lap they've done on the softs. So potentially could steal that point back off CJ. Whoever gets the fastest lap at the end of the race, for those that don't know. Whoever gets the fastest lap will get one additional championship point on top of the points total, so long as they finish within the top 10. So CJ at the moment being 5th definitely gets that point. Offendoback has come up to Santry. 3 laps younger tyres, so it'll have a bit more pace. As Doback has a kick of understeer on the exit at 10. And I keep saying this, but the hairpin here is incredibly important. And that kick of understeer will haunt him, will follow him all the way down to the final corners. But Hovendoback, much better pace advantage, puts in a 1:11.1 and goes up into 3rd place, and he's now charging towards the end of this race. A Websy with a 1:11.0 on the soft tyre goes faster than Hovendoback, goes faster than BXTN. Fastest man on track at the moment is the man that started this race on pole. He's down in 7th at the moment, and that will be hurting. Did he stay on the medium tyre for too long? That's the question. Personally speaking, at the moment, one would say he definitely did. Took the mediums well into the late stages of the race. Obviously opted not to go onto the hard. He's taken the mediums that long just so he could be on the softs at the end. But now, as luck would have it, as CJ gets up past Santry. But now, as luck would have it, as Slasher gets a 3-second time penalty. Now, as luck would have it, Websy now shares almost the same bit of tarmac as somebody else on the same strategy. BXTN also on the softs. Also 3 laps on this tyre. It's not really paid off for Websy unless he can dispatch and get past BXTN. Santry losing ground to CJ immediately after he's overtaken him. And CJ's got the fastest first sector of anybody else so far. Could this be another fastest lap for CJ? Critical part of the track. The second sector. Not the fastest there. Gets it nice to slow down for the hairpin. Powers out. No oversteer. Is now all over the back of Huff and Doback. This is for a podium place. Huff and Doback will defend this to the very end. But CJ is closing in at a rate of knots at the moment. Crosses the start-finish line. We're now on to lap 30. The leader, 6.5 seconds off Lex. Lex has reduced that gap down by 7/10 since we last picked it up. CJ almost like he's in a different formula at the moment. A tier above. He's pulled 6/10 in the first sector alone. Slaz boxes from 9th. Must have had a bit of wing damage or is retiring from the session. Or going for the fastest lap. Yes, he's going for the fastest lap. So Slaz has realised that he's got that slight gap behind him. I think Cotton Goblin will actually get him. 10th. Slaz going for the fastest lap of the race. And this is going to be close to turn 13. But not close enough, it seems. Got to get a good exit here, but he doesn't. It looks like Huff and Doback has pulled away slightly. 4/10 as they come up to turn 1. DJ has a little look on the inside, but it wasn't there. The move wasn't there. Huff and Doback losing the back end slightly as CJ clipped the rear tyre. That was very close to being disastrous for both of them. The move, it was late. It was a day late and $1 short. Certainly a quote from Martin Brundle. I think you'll know that. But still, desperation, I'd say. He knows he's faster. He's still just 3/10 behind Huff and Doback. Huff and Doback is struggling in this stint of the race. Put in the fastest lap when he moved on to the tyre, but since then has made no impression on the leading few as the back marker gets out of the way for this battle for 3rd place. This will put Doback under pressure. Doback has got DRS from the back marker and he's going to get 2 helpings of it as well. Great exit from CJ this time, much closer. Still 3/10 behind. I don't think he's going to close up enough. No, he's not. It's going to be yet another lap stuck behind Huff and Doback for CJ. Lex has pulled up to 4.8 seconds behind Binary, but he's got a 3-second time penalty. All drivers, apart from Huff and Doback, Websy, Cottony Goblin, have time penalties. CJ needs to get this move done as soon as possible, because he may not be able to catch the top 2 now, but he does have to pull away from Huff and Doback, and Huff and Doback knows this. The longer that he can make this last, even if CJ does get past him, he'll have to pull out at least 3 seconds. Dolbach goes wide into 10. That's going to hurt him all the way down to 13. No DRS from the back marker this time. It's looking very pedestrian, this overtake. CJ does move up into 3rd place. But he's got it all to do now. He's got it all to do. He's got 3 seconds to pull out. Huff and Dolbach gets a 3-second time penalty just as I say that. And that is essentially, yeah, that sealed the deal. CJ is now net 3rd. He does not have to make that 3-second gap. Speaking of 3-second gaps, where's the penalties? There we go. As Websy moves up past BXTN. No penalties whatsoever. Did start this race first. He's had a shocker, really, from where he started to where he's ended up. He has managed to pull it back a little bit. He's kept his... Oh, CJ gets a 3-second time penalty in the late stages, and that could have been caused by a back marker. It's David Kovalaki. Maybe on the racing line, which has caused a further 3 seconds onto CJ's total. The race is getting very close to the end now. We are on lap 34 of 35 as they cross the line here. The race leader still 4.8 seconds in the lead. Lex is closing in. Binary is done 26 laps on this tyre. He's won 2 races this season. Will he pull level with Lex on three wins? Going to be an absolutely incredible win for Binary if he manages to pull this off. DJ needs to lose Huff and Dolbach, but I don't think it's possible. He's got to pull out 3 seconds in just 2 laps, and he almost loses the back end as well through turn 8. And this is the closest battle on track at the moment. It's still for 3rd place. Net, it's Huff and Dolbach. Obviously, Huff and Dolbach will not want to win it through penalties, though, as he moves up past time, Mr. DJ CJ. Gets the move done. Passes the wall of champions in 3rd place. And begins the final lap of the race. 3.5 seconds off the lead. Lex tried the early undercut. Probably... Oh, as he almost lost the back end there, actually. We switched away for a second as Lex lost 3/10. CJ and Huff still close together. I'm not sure if CJ will try to make the move. He may obviously just get past naturally through DRS, as he's still 3/10 behind. The DRS is incredibly powerful here, as you can see. And Cycle Leds picks up a 3-second time penalty. But it won't matter because the next driver behind him is 18 seconds back. Binary then, he's pulled off an absolutely incredible feat by the looks of it. He rounds out the final 2 corners, passes the wall of champions. He's yet to be a champion in RCR. But he's a winner here at the Canadian Grand Prix. He crosses the line in 1st. Lex comes home 2nd. CJ on track will finish 3rd, but it's Huff and Dolbach that will take the final podium spot. Santry bringing it home in 5th place, but Websy just 2 seconds behind will take that from him. BXTN finishes 7th behind Santry in 6th. Cycle Leds still at the hairpin. Slazenger, David Kovalaki and FR Element all have not completed their final lap due to being lapped, and it's just Cycle Leds and Cotton and Goblin to round out the final finishing order. Cycle Leds coming up to the line now, finishing 8th, and Cotton and Goblin will finish 9th. But there is your race winner. 28 laps on the hard tyre, the longest that anybody went on the hard. Binary takes the win here in Canada, away from a charging Lex, who tried the undercut. It did work for him in some respects, but it wasn't enough as Websy has left the session early. Hopefully that doesn't mess up the standing order, but I don't think it will. There's your race winner, joined by Lex and Huffendale back on the podium. Okay then, so here's our finishing order. Binary takes the win, Lex in second. Huffendale back, I Mr. DJ, CJ close on track, but CJ's extra 3-second time penalty that he got at the very end there cost him the victory. The final podium spot, sorry. Websy and Santry 5th and 6th. Websy did well to pull back what was essentially a ruined race after he went a bit too long on the medium tyre to get to the soft, and the undercut ever so powerful around here. Santry 6th, as I said, BXTN and Psycho Leds in 7th and 8th. Cottony Goblin and Slazenger Volvo round out your top 10. Fastest lap went to Websy with a 1:11.036. David Kovalaki, FR Element and Owen 11th, 12th, 13th and 14th. And I'm not going to see the final two. FaZe Walker and Active JMC did not finish the session. Both of them invalidated, DNF'd from the session.